You are live. That's what it says on my screen. You are live. Like, remind you that you are live. You are live. Particularly important this morning to know that I am live. I am alive. It's particularly important this morning because the Tiki Hut retreat is on like Donkey Kong. We're gonna let it rip, potato chip. Now I realize that we may have a fewer listeners this morning because they're flying and driving and boating and motorcycling and they're finding any way. I know we have people coming from as far as Washington, Seattle, Washington, the Washington on the west side of the country. Not where all the chaos is in Washington, D.C. Oh, my gosh. I made the mistake of turning on the news last night. I got to tell you, man, that show we did yesterday was pretty powerful. I was fighting some, I don't know, you can call them whatever you want, bad thoughts, automatic negative thoughts, demons. I had trouble getting up for the PMA. Now, listen, you may say, Todd, that's really odd. You're supposed to be this guy. Well, anyways, yesterday, it was just one of those days where, you know, I was feeling the weight of the world. Good morning, Harold Luther, hump day. Lewis, nice to see you. Very impressive. I don't know what's impressive. You're impressive, Lewis. The fact that I do this every morning and have new content every morning is kind of impressive, I guess. I revel in the fact that at about 11 o'clock at night, I finally put together the final touches and I get up at 4 and then we start to put things together for the day and the show. And man, I love you guys so much for being so cool. Good morning, Madeline. I'm here from North Carolina. Can't wait to see and meet everybody. You guys have no idea when you see her. Look at here. Positive mental. Amen, Christina, Harold, Hawanta, Christina, John Frank. Look at the piling up. Well, listen, today we're going to do something that maybe Facebook's not excited about, but we're going to pray today, man. So hang on for the end of the show. We're going to be done in 30 minutes exactly, or a little shorter. We've got to get over to the IMG Hotel. Good morning, King Overland. And set up the sound and the lights and the stage. And man, we just got to have everything go right. So welcome. Good morning to the dawn of the Tiki Hut retreat. I've been to a lot of conferences and retreats in my life, and I decided to do this wired differently mindset, mission, movement, and ministry. And it's built around PMA, man. We spent a lot of time yesterday in PMA and positive mental attitude. And I thought, man, I just didn't do enough yesterday, right? I just didn't do enough yesterday to really, I think I created the awareness of PMA. We told the story about Les, and we told the story about Zig Ziglar, right? And here's the thing. Les Brown and Zig Ziglar are titans in this world of positive mental attitude, positive motivational aptitude. These people are amazing. Spent their life. Zig died at 86 or something like that. Man, he was positive until the day he died. And the analogy that we talked about yesterday, the thing that we really shared out the most yesterday is that when Les Brown and Zig Ziglar got together and said, hey, man, let's create a network where we just only do positive mental attitude. We're positive all the time, 24/7. We just on cable and we bring on all the big guns and we just always positive, always. So when somebody wants to lift it up, they just go to this network. Well, turns out that my good friend, Dr. Robert Rome, who I spent the week in Cancun with the DISC mindset training, which I'm going to be teaching at the Tiki Hut retreat. I know I got a good friend, Obama, who's going to be there and was at that. So he's seen a little bit of it. We got a different twist on the DISC training, but you're going to love it. But so as Les Brown and Zig Ziglar got it wrong, I know Christina, I hurt your feelings a little bit. I know they got it wrong. They got it right in their mind positively, but they got it wrong. They thought the world would like embrace positiveness. And so our job is to recognize that these automatic negative thoughts, these anti-positive thoughts, the fact that the world's news organizations are built on everything but positivity drives the understanding that our subconscious, our mindset, and everything about us is really a catalyst is driven to negativity. Who's sleeping with who? Who's sick? Who's in the hospital? What accident? Were they drinking? Were they not drinking? Oh my gosh, did you know that somebody cheated on somebody with somebody? Oh my gosh, did you see who went bankrupt yesterday? Oh my gosh, Todd Saylor, did you hear what he did that day or this day? Oh, he's so arrogant. You should hear, it goes on and on and on and on, And so I just want to make sure that this mindset, mission, movement, and ministry, wired differently, is built around the culture. And I'm going to kick off our inaugural Tiki Hut retreat talking about It's Our Culture. I'm so excited about it. But I thought, you know what? Today, I am going to do something that's positive. Like, I wanted to talk about my grandson real quick and how we can be positive about things, how we can actually fix our problems in a positive way. So I've got 2 action points for you today. One is I'm going to tell a story about my grandson, Sailor, and how he has actually taught me and is exercising things that can be done even from a 9-year-old's brain, and that we should maybe think more like 9-year-olds, right? But secondly, I want to give you this network. I want to find this only good news. If there was only a network that had good news and I could report on it on a regular basis, wouldn't that be a little bit easier for me? Wouldn't that be a little bit easier to have a show about positive mental attitude? So this morning, I just want to tell you, I was with my grandson Sailor, and he's 9, and I've had the blessing. Good morning, Terry K. Good morning, Claire. Man, I cannot believe King Overland, Robert Case, the people that are on this morning. So I came home one day, and my grandson Sailor and I showed that image of the Star Wars Darth Vader helmets, the Lego set that was the hit piece to try to get you thinking about deconstruct and pieces of a puzzle and how to solve problems. And so I wanted to kind of share with you one of the things that we will be talking about at the Tiki Hut, but maybe not so much as I wanted to share it this morning, is that the solution to all your problems is to deconstruct the puzzle, right? And so the best way to explain this is to share a story with you about my grandson, Sailor. And I've learned this from Elon Musk. I've learned this from my father. I've learned this from every coach I've ever had. And I want to share this with you. That, we're only here on this earth really, to love and serve and bring people to Christ for the afterlife. I get all that. But when it comes down to being functional on this planet, especially you wired differently people, listen to me right now. There's only one thing that you're going to be able to do that's really going to be relevant, and that is to what? Solve problems. And if we're not solving problems, we're not worth anything to anybody, right? I mean, I want you to think about that for a second. I mean, that's a pretty heavy statement, Todd. Why would you say you're not worth anything? I mean, I'm not trying to listen, mister. I'm not trying to say that you're not worth anything. I'm not saying you're worthless, but I'm just saying your worth on this planet, your worth in our culture, wired differently, sir, is not worth much if you're not willing to understand that you're supposed to be here to help solve problems. If you're not solving problems for yourself, or you're not solving problems for other people, no one else is there to do. Well, you say, well, I can play games. I can get on the internet. Well, when you're getting on the games and you're playing Nintendo or any of the games, PlayStation or any of those things right now, I mean, you're solving problems on the game station, not problems that are really affecting other people, but maybe melting your mind into Fortnite or any other problematic mindset problem. And you're programming your mind, you're solving problems but you're not doing it in a purposeful way. I want you to understand that our job is wired differently. People is to be wired differently. I need to think about things differently. I want you to understand that our existence, you go to work every day to solve problems for somebody else. That that's your job, right? You go to work to solve problems with other people because you want to serve, because you want to do those things. And so when we go to solve problems for other people and for ourselves, we need to understand this one main rule, one main principle of wire differently, one main rule of problem solving that my grandson Sailor so perfectly demonstrated to me one morning. I'm just going to share it with you, and then we're going to talk about it. So here's what's going on. I come home from work one afternoon, and my grandson's here, and he's a Lego fanatic, man. He used to be dinosaurs, and now he's Legos. So we're always buying him dinosaurs or, what are these things called? Pokemon cards. And now we're into Legos. And this kid who has a 140 IQ, which is, he told me the other day, I have a 140 IQ. I'm smarter than you probably, Pop. And I said, like, well, right. I was not going to get into it, a debate on whether a 140 IQ makes a kid smarter or not than his papa, because what if I lost that debate? Oh, the pressure. Bottom line is we had to have a little lesson about risk and reward and attitude and what are you going to do with all that superpower, right? But I digress. So I come home and he's smiling when he takes those shots at me, but he's putting this 4,000 piece Lego, I don't know, head of Darth Vader together. He's got two of them. So he puts the whole thing together. And of course, he's got 140 IQ. And he finally gets down after 4 hours of putting this Lego Darth Vader head together. I come back down. I'm like, man, that looks great. And he couldn't tell if there was really anything wrong with it, but he had one piece left. He said, Papa, I can't have one piece left. It's not complete. I'm missing a piece. There's a gap down here. This isn't right. After 4 hours, right? And I said, Sailor, man, I know that's frustrating. I know, and I know you want it right. And there's no way we can put that on your shelf if you've got an extra piece. How many of you been in a situation where you've been putting like one of these desks together, some furniture together you picked up from some place at Home Depot, or you picked it up at a Walmart, or you picked it up at Myers or Menards, or wherever you go to get your stuff. You get these locks and cams, and all of a sudden you have more pieces left. I mean, that's me. But we can't leave it set that way. So we've got to go figure that out. So I said, Sailor, this is a problem. This is life. Problems come with life. Your job is to solve problems. And this is a problem you need to solve. He says, well, Papa, I'm just frustrated. And I'm like, okay, think about this one second. What are you going to do? He said, I'm not sure. I said, listen, every problem gets better with a plan, right? So I said, what's your plan? He says, well, I guess I'm going to take it apart. I said, listen, let me just give you some advice in life. And I'm going to give all of you the same advice. When you put a piece of puzzle together, when you take a project and you put it together, when you take everything, you put it together and it comes out and it doesn't work the right way the first time or the right way at the end of the construction, you have to deconstruct the problem. I don't care what the problem is. You have to deconstruct the whole thing. He says, what do you mean, Papa? I said, you've got to take apart the whole puzzle to the very base of the puzzle. But why the whole puzzle? Or maybe I said, Sailor, you don't know where the problem began and where it started. You don't know where it's if you pick it up at a certain spot and you go forward again, that you have really solved the problem at the core. So listen, my friends, my grandson said, yes, Papa. He deconstructed that whole puzzle in roughly 2.5 hours early. He put it together a lot faster. He had it all done, had the missing piece in there, and he constructed the puzzle. But he realized that if he wouldn't have went all the way down to the core, there was different variations of the puzzle that could have went either way and taken him to the summit of the puzzle again and been rejected. So this is the advice I want to give you. Our job is to solve puzzles. Our job is to solve problems. Our job is to be that person. But the lesson I want you to understand in building a tiki hut, in building a corporation, building a company, the tools we're going to be giving people at this tiki hut retreat are how to solve problems. Because if we're not solving problems, we're not building puzzles, creating the pieces to go in the right directions, then we really don't have a reason or an existence in the marketplace. Deconstruct. I don't know how many times we went back to the meetings in this tiki hut retreat where we had a piece at the end of a meeting. We weren't sure. So we'd go all the way back. Let's go from the time they check in. Let's go all the way back from the first imprint we made on social media. And let's walk through this whole process. We're going to do it one more time today. But I want to caution people, when you're solving problems and you're doing things, don't just go back to the spot in the problem where you think it was broke. I'm really strongly suggesting that almost every time you don't stop there, but you go back to the very beginning of the problem, deconstruct. I'm coaching with a guy right now out of Indianapolis, amazing man, social media marketing genius. He just has helped me in so many ways. And he says, man, I got this new project and it's in a spot and I want it to go in a certain way. It was going to go away and now it's a silo. And I said, listen, silos are great. Pull it out. But before you go back to market with this silo project, a social media platform, unbundling it from a JV, a joint venture, deconstruct it, because now that it's a silo, it's got to stand out in a different way. And don't just go back to where it was a silo before. Go all the way back and say, man, this is where we should start now. Because when we thought about this a year ago, the world was a certain way. Let's start it here now, which is going to take the entire trajectory of this project one way or the other. Just like with Sailor's puzzle, man. If he didn't go all the way back, he could have found that that piece was not the only piece that was wrong, which he realized, which led another piece to lead that piece wrong, which allowed him to have that piece wrong for another piece wrong, and on it goes. And so we got to deconstruct the problem to be the solution. I'm saving you so much time and money right now. You have no idea. A little extra time on the deconstruction of the problem to solve the problem in entirety, to make yourself in your problematic solving and your positive mental attitude working for everybody. So that's what I wanted to share with you on Deconstruct with Sailor. And so what I wanted to do was take you out this morning and give you some really good news, And we'll close with the Tiki Hut. But the other thing I wanted to tell you is that I took the PMA to another level, right? I would say my PMA score, like on camera, I'm a 8.5, 9 on camera. That's pretty damn high for a PMA score. You know, we're kind of making this up. We're doing our own measures, and we'll probably have some fun with it at the Tiki Hut. But behind the camera, I got to tell you, so I'm a IFC in front of camera is about let's call it 8.5, 9. Behind the camera, BHC. I'm a strong 7. But there is a difference there, because I don't let the demons get to me when I'm live right now on a show like this. I mean, I dream about my shows. I think about my shows. I think about speeches all the time. I constantly got content on my phone. But there are times when I was getting ready for this show that I didn't have positive thoughts. My computer wasn't working. The internet was down for some reason. We had a guy come fix the gate to get everybody ready for the house. The gate broke. So we had to get a guy to fix the gate. He came here to fix the gate. He shut the power off. The whole house went down. The internet went down. And this morning I got up and I had no internet. But so I had to deconstruct that, to go all the way back. I had to reboot. Finally went to the router. Oh my gosh, right? But if I wouldn't have I'm thinking about this now. If I wouldn't have deconstructed, I wouldn't have solved the problem. Sailor wouldn't have solved the problem. We went all the way back and started over with the puzzle. So I thought, with the PMA message yesterday of a PMA of on screen of about 8.5 or 9, and my PMA score off screen about 7, I thought, what can we do? So I dug into this network of positivity. Well, TV might not be the answer, but the internet is. And so what I thought I would do is search. And so I found this great website called Only Good News Daily. I mean, I'm challenging you guys to literally get on this Only Good News Daily, right? And I think this is our way to actually go forward in life, and me giving you a solution to just telling you you should have better positive mental attitude. So Only Good News Daily is a really cool thing, right? We just talked about deconstructing happiness and problem solving. But here we go. Let's take some action. Let's get really with it. Let's get to Only Good News Daily. And I just want to take a few topics here and we're going to take this thing out, man. So here's what I did. I went into Only Good News Daily. And I thought, okay, what happens with Only Good News Daily? Well, it's a super cool network that really brings you daily news that's good news, positive mental attitude news, not the war in Ukraine, not Mr. Biden's inability to run this country, not the fact that Trump's in jail again and he's causing problems, not the fact that the world's on fire. Come on, we want to be wired differently. We want to be against the tide of the world, right? Because we are misfits in this world. We are not a part of this world. We want to separate from the negativity. We want to separate from the things that are polarizing minorities from the whites. We want to separate ourselves from the naysayers in our business mindset. We want to separate ourselves from those people talking about other people. We want to go forward in positivity. We want to be wired differently because we are wired differently. We wake up differently. We go to bed differently. And I just want you to relish that fact. And here's something we can move with. I do not own any interest in this website. I have nothing. I merely found them searching for something that was counterintuitive to negative media constantly. And I simply typed in Only Good News. And to my surprise, several networks had it. Fox had it, CNBC, MSNBC had it, CBS had it, and I saw a myriad of probably 3 others, probably 6 hits on Good News Daily. But this one I liked. And so I thought, well, let's just get it out there. OnlyGoodNewsDaily.com, and then we'll wrap this thing up. So here's what I did. I just scrolled through here and I thought, well, here are the top news stories, right? Like I saw this one and I'm like excited about it. I don't know if you guys can hear this or not. Let's see. Skydance, Mission Impossible. I don't think the volume's working, but Tom Cruise is doing it again. I think that's good news. I know he's still alive. Look at this. I don't know. There goes Tom Cruise. Here's another one. Wildcats could be released in England. Now, I don't know. Let's just see what's going on there. Wildcats. All right. For the first time in 100, that's good news, right? I'm not making fun of this, but I'm like, we have to, like, when I first started reading the Good News Only, I'm like, man, this is boring. And I can see why, nothing's on fire. Nobody's getting killed. No one's, leaving their wife. No one's stealing money from the internet. No one is stealing the title insurance from your house. No one, this is just good news. But why can't we reprogram our mind a little bit to be thinking about good news? I mean, I'm as guilty as you. Literally turned on the Fox News last night I thought, well, for 15, 20 minutes before I go to bed, I couldn't get through 5. So here we go. Wildcats could be released in England for the first time in hundreds of years. Wildcats could be released back into the wild in England. England has seen the introduction of both beavers and bison. So England is getting on with the Donkey Kong and doing that, right? So that's good. We got Wildcats getting out there. Now, don't make fun of good news. If you start making fun of good news, then you're the good news fun maker. And we don't want to be good news fun maker. We want good news. We have to reprogram ourselves a little bit. Why not? Here's one I did read up and I kind of liked. Let me see here. Well, we had the movie. We had Miley Cyrus. But the one I thought was kind of cool here, and I did read on this. Surprisingly successful sports bra, right? So it got my attention here, of course, because I thought maybe it was a typo. And this should be surprisingly successful sports bar, right? But no, they said it right. Surprisingly successful sports bra. So this lady in England, no, wait, where was she at? Just here in America, in Portland, Oregon. She got tired of going into bars and only seeing men's sports playing on TV, which, men's sports are arguably more popular, in many ways more exciting. But I want to tell you, I have 3 daughters, and I got to watch my daughters play volleyball. I got to watch them play. Kara, I got to watch her play college softball on ESPN. College softball is a blast. girls play now. Come on now, somebody. So this lady, Jenny, says, I've had enough of going to these sports bar and begging for a women's sport or women's basketball or something on a TV. And they sequester her to the quiet room. And she's got a black and white TV and captions only and no sound. It's just not good for her. So she says, the heck with this. The heck with this, she says. I'm opening my own bar. And so what she did is called it the Sports Bra. And what she's doing is playing 24/7 female sports. And hey, there's a few TVs for men's sports, but this is it, the Sports Bra. And she's doing surprisingly well, and she's doing it in Oregon. That's a place to do it. It's a good test market, a much easier marketplace out there for things like this. And I think it's going to catch on. I think it's going to be fun. I think it's great. I think it's great news on Only Good News. So I just wanted to let you guys know that, man, I deconstructed Darth Vader. I deconstructed the internet. I've deconstructed my companies on numerous occasions. I've deconstructed my life. I mean, I want you to understand that it's very important we realize our place in this world. I think it's really important that we realize that we're problem solvers. And to solve problems, we need to be aware of problems. And to be aware of problem is to be part of this thirst to solve problems for yourself and for others. And this idea of deconstructing is probably one of the most important teaching points I can give you, because I'm giving you actionable items and how to solve problems. When you're frustrated, deconstruct. When you're not sure, deconstruct. When you're in a panic, deconstruct. When you don't have the answers, deconstruct. Because right away, immediately, you've got a plan. And immediately when you have a plan, to only deconstruct, your blood pressure starts to go because you know where to go. You know how to solve those things. You know where to start. You have a place, a point of reference. Don't just let your mind spin. Go right to deconstruction. Let's break it down. Let's get it right down to the core. Heather and I do this all the time. We go right to the whiteboard. Now, where did this project start? Right? Where did this project start? Let's deconstruct. Let's remake this. Let's not go right to where the problem started, but go all the way back to the beginning of the solution. And I want to challenge you to be positive. I want to go back to positive mental attitude. I want you guys to get your behind the screen score as high as your on the screen score. And you know what I'm talking about. You know that in front of people we're one way, and then behind the scenes we're another way. And that really hit me hard. I'm like, why did you just say that in your head, Todd? That's not positive. Why do you say one thing when you're on the network or you're on your YouTube or when you're on this, and then behind the screen you're like, I'll say a curse word in my head and I get so mad at myself. Why did I do that? It's natural. It's because the negativity in our mindset is programming us a way to think that we've got to reverse the core, right? Why is it funny on the Only Daily Good News channel, Only Good News Daily channel, to look at a Bobcat release and think this is boring when it's an amazing thing, really? I mean, Only Good News Daily, why is it funny to think about a sports bra versus a sports bar? Why not? Why is our mindset not attracting more to positivity? And I'm challenging you. I'm giving you this network. I want you to deconstruct yourself, your problems, your business, and even your life. I have so many stories of problems being solved and deconstructing working in my life. I'm going to pull up this Only Good News Network every so often. We're going to grab some topics on there and we're going to have some fun with it. We're going to start programming our minds for positivity. And we're going to start with the Tiki Hut Retreat. It's on like Donkey Kong. Thank you, Heather. Thank you, Chris. Thank you, Chad. Thank you, Abby. Thank you, Jeannie. So many of you are here. Let's have a great day. And I'm heading out there to set up the stage at 9 o'clock. We got to get out of here. Petey's going to be here at 8 to pull the things apart and get us up and running. God bless you guys. See you soon. And yes, I will be going live tomorrow, probably from the resort.